Hello, everyone. Welcome to Maude's Book Club. We are talking about Fourth Wing. This is a very, very popular book happening. If you've been on Book Talk or Bookstagram, you know that this is a book everyone's been talking about. Rebecca Yarros has written a fantasy book, even though her history of writing is more in the romance department. So we are going to be talking about the ins and outs of Fourth Wing. This will be full spoiler conversations because we've all now finished the book. A big hello to Avery, who's there. Blue Reader Gal says hello. Lisa's like, hello, everyone. How we doing? Toaster Poster says, hi, Maud. Hi, chat. Terry's here. True Scorn's here. Says, hello, all waves. Venin was the first to chat. I feel like there's, you've got to say first. And all that. Oh, Robin. When did that arrive? The sweater. I just did a photo shoot in that one.
I've had it for a while, but it's so hot here that this is the first time that I was able to wear it.
Oh, it's a nice one. I got the exact same one. I like that combo big time. A big hello to chat. If you do want to become part of the Book Club Plus, Members Plus tier, head over to patreon.com/Maude's Book Club. We've got a bunch of different tiers, 3 to be specific. One where you can get access to all of the Discord and you get double the chance to win giveaways that we have going on all throughout the month. If you want to be Members Plus, you get to be in the call while we do the shows live and we hang out afterwards, have a cool little debrief. And if you want to be part of the merch tier, then we as a group design merch that you can only get if you are in that tier. You cannot purchase it. It is exclusive, and we all work together to make some really cool stuff for that one. The last one had a dragon on it, so we like dragons around here. If you haven't been on Fable, definitely go over there. There's been some hilarious chapter breakdowns for Fourth Wing especially. Some people have just had some incredible insights. I've experienced the full discourse of Avery's anger, which was fantastic. You make great points. And you predicted the ending, so I think that's really well done. I get mad in there sometimes being like, make it make sense. Like, make it make sense. But I will say the second half of the book is a lot better than the first half of the book, I think, personally. I think it really takes a shift change, and I can't wait to talk about the second half, especially since 2 weeks ago we spoke about the first half of the book. If you want to chat... Oh, sorry. Happy to share my rage with others, says Avery. If you want to go through that discussion, you can find the VOD right here on the Twitch network. I'm pretty sure that's all the housekeeping we got to do. Hello, chat. Hello, call center videos of the everyone's. How are you? I had a photo shoot all day today. That's why I got lashes on. And my hair's dead, but I'm exhausted. I did a photo shoot for Maude's Book Club's merch. So we're going to see pictures of that very, very soon. Oh, I got a double U from Timbo. That's cool. I mean, he's busy working, but still was able to stop for 3 seconds to give me a double shucker. So that's something. And a salute. We also have been putting out some really, really cool social content about Fourth Wing. And we've got a... threshing challenge coming up soon. We've asked you to find your birth month and see who you're going to be on the sparring match, on the sparring ring with. March, we're fighting Dain. It's a good day. Dain, don't touch my head. Don't read my thoughts, because it would be just, fuck you, Dain, the whole way through it. And he'd be like, oh, do you really feel that way? And I'd be like, ah! And that's what you get when you're born in March. I think Maude and I can take down Dain. Yeah. He's going down. He'd be like, you don't have to do this fight. And I'll be like, try and stop me, Dain. You are the Dain of my existence. Maude's feisty today, says Chris. Nah, but like, if you're going to talk about maybe punching Dain, it's not a bad day at all, I say. Usually on part 2 of book discussions, we go around Members Plus to give it a 5-star rating. Who wants to go first? Fourth Wing, out of 5. What do we got? Oh, Lisa, you got Imogen? You're fucked. You're done. Ain't no way. I would run the other way. You gonna tell me your 5-star review, Lise, now that I put you on the spot with Imogen?
Sure. I think I'm ending up at a 4-star.
That's what I gave it.
Yeah, 3.5, 4-star. The first half for me was meh. But the second half was really good. So that I think that bumped it up a little at the end. But I think once it got out of the oh my god, he's so hot all the time
I
and
mean, it
actually
still
got into
happens in
like
the second half of the book.
it still happens, but like there was more action and actual
There
things
certainly
happening
was
that
more
weren't
action.
yeah. Yeah, I liked it better. I liked the last like 4 or 5 chapters were just like nonstop and
I know. I wish
I
the book
did
was more like
cry.
that. You did? I know why. I
Yeah.
know why. I've got a theory about that I just read that I will pass on to everyone as well. We will talk about the end of the book. Reading out some other scores. Tira, you gave it a 3.75 out of 5, even though you read it twice. In fact, you blitzed through this book and you told everyone, please do read it. It's very, very good.
Almost twice. I have 5 chapter left for the second part.
They're the best chapters.
I even like when I got to chapter 30 with the smooching, I just skipped the full chapter.
It was 3/4 of a chapter in detail. Yeah.
But no, yeah, in retrospective, yeah, there's a lot of fault in the story.
Yeah.
Even though it gets way better in the second part, but yeah, there's the fact that for like 20 plus adults, they act like teenagers.
Yes. Yeah.
And that at the second reading, you're like, yeah, that's kind of it's bothering. Like it makes no sense that they would act like that. But yeah, like on Fable, I said like chapter 21, the conversation between Violet and Liam hits a little bit harder on the second read. But 3.75.
Can you talk about what happens in chapter 21 since we're going full spoilers in this discussion? What was it that they were talking about?
So Violet was like getting to know Liam a little bit better and talking about like the fact that she was supposed to be a scry as they were walking towards the library.
Mm-hmm.
And she asked him what he wanted to do when growing up, and said, be alive. And also he talked about his little sisters that's going to join the academy next year. So he's like, and yeah, knowing what's going to happen to Liam by the end, it's like, oof, that's a lot.
I've been thinking too much about this. Liam scored. Okay, Liam scored. There's 2 instances how I know this happened. One of them was he was flirting with the scribe girl. He was laying it on, and Violet's like, hey, don't do that. She's a forever person. Do not try and set this up thinking you're just going to have a little bit of temporary fun. Don't break her heart. And he was just like, you got to take what you can get if you can die tomorrow. But then
Which is weird, because her mom's a writer and her dad was a scribe.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Make it make
Your
sense.
Parents, and the dad is the one that died.
Yeah. Did he? We don't listen.
Yeah, heart attack.
Okay. But also, so Liam's like putting moves down, so you know he's got crushes. But then like the night that they all celebrated, so after the ceremony, the festivities, whatever, like a lot of people hooked up that night, and then like they see each other for war camp like early hours of the morning, and Violet kind of goes, Liam, did you get did you get any? And he just blushes. So who is he with? Who's Liam with? Who did Liam hook up with? Oh, hello, Rolls Fresh. How are you? Yay, we got people coming over from break room watching.
Might be the scribe girl.
The scribe girl. What was her name? The friend.
Yeah, Violet's friend that they keep seeing.
Blackbelt says he got with the Venin. Liam would never. Take that back. Wash your mouth out. J Bunt Rock says, I've got a feeling that no one will stay dead in this universe. Why is that? Adam Vision says he was with me. And he just subscribed for his 35th month. How was Liam, Adam? You lucky thing. What are you shaking your head at? Adam, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that comment. Good Lord. No, don't applaud that. No, stop that. No, he's finding the sound effect so he can literally applaud this comment. Wait for it. There it is. God damn it. All right, we'll do a poll. Is Liam packing it? No, never mind. Sorry, that's disrespectful to our Liam. I have a theory he's not going to stay dead, but I'll tell you that afterwards. But yeah, I think Liam got some, which is good. Rhiannon's bisexual. She's getting girls and then boys. She's just having a good old time. I think Riddick, is he bi? It doesn't matter. They're all having a good time while they're flying. Because the tone of this is not that it's a death camp. It's not that, you go there and every single day you wake up wondering if it's going to be the last day you'll ever live. You go to this academy so you can perv on abs and rippling back muscles, and everyone's just so ripped and perfect and good looking, and everyone's so good at what they do and just happens to be really talented without any real experience of it. It starts making sense when you realize all the kids with rebellion marks literally will die if they don't show their best. But like, where is that? Where is that different mindset, except for the time where we saw them in the first half of the book have a little meeting and congregate on their own to check in to see if they're going to, train harder and survive through this. That the mentality of the amount of people dying every single day does not correlate with what's happening in the book. And I think that is this book's biggest flaw. It is so focused on whatever that muscle is that goes from the stomach down into the pant line, like that is its biggest concern. And no, I love that I'm like making Venin writhe with discomfort in this book. Also, we're probably going to be doing another romantasy book in February. So, and you've read all of ACOTAR. Did you read Silver Flame yet?
Yeah, I did. It was like you described, way too like the sex scenes were extremely long and honestly pretty shitty. But like, the book itself kind of sucked, honestly, that one, but I like the other ones.
Holy shit, I think you killed her.
Good times. I just think that if you're going to have dire situations, yeah, I guess it's like, well, I may as well shack up with someone because I really don't know when I'm going to live. But I would also be like, I do not want to waste a second of sleep because if I'm tired, I could die. Like, where is that energy at this academy? Why do so many people have to die when they're building an army where every person is very necessary and every person unlocks a power? Why would you just dismiss people that can potentially unlock a freaking superpower and they're all of a sudden so I'm getting angry again, aren't I? I can feel it. I can feel it because it doesn't makes sense. And I just think that if we took a step back and recognized what was needed with this story, then the tone of this book would be incredibly different. Chris wants everyone to know that they picked up Silver Flame. Hasn't read it yet. Venin, what can they expect?
Nothing good. Basically,
for yourself. Cassian had a good time.
I don't know if Cassie had a good time. He was pissed at half the book.
That's true. Yeah, because she's so annoying. I'm sorry, but I am not a Nestor apologist. I am not.
No.
I think if you're going to be a dickhead and you're pushing people away, then just do everyone a favor and leave. Sorry, but like I've had actual arguments with some friends who are Nestor apologists. And I will not budge on that. I'm so sorry. But if you're a dick, there are consequences. If your behavior is continually just abysmal towards people, like hurt people, that's a choice. You really do have a choice in how you handle your shit. Anyway, hi, Ali. How is everyone? Coming in from the break room as well. New to the channel. Fantastic. Hi, everyone who's just joining Maude's book club because I have been trying to not quite successfully promote it. I get put on the spot and I'm like, I just want more people to read sci-fi and fantasy. Well, all throughout the month of September, we've been reading Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros, which is technically a fantasy book with romance elements, so I like to call that romantasy. Second half of the book has lots of sex, sea times. Lots and lots. Enough. Jimmy, Jimmy says being a dick is never helpful unless it involves this book. Well, you're not wrong. Especially in the second half of this book. We are talking about it. Ali says, is this book on Audible? It absolutely is. In fact, I think Audible is probably the best place to do it because a lot of bookshops in the physical copy has just sold out because it has been so popular. Thierry's trying to make Smutmancy work. Fetch had a better chance. Thierry? So what you guys don't know is that I have a Members Plus section and we're all in a video call on Discord, so I get to see everyone's reactions and responses to what I say. And Thierry's response to that one was, oh, yeah, okay. Sargon, hello, welcome. We're doing spoilers, so you know, says Bree. Yes, thank you for the reminder. We do 2 streams of 2 hours apiece, actually. I know that's a lot, about the book. And the first half is the first week. We are in the second half of the book. So we are talking about the whole thing. We're going full spoilers. Ali says, my mum is the only one who calls me Ali. So hearing it is making me nostalgic. Oh, so I'm Australian. So I will automatically nickname someone. That's just what we do. It's a default. As long as I've got permission and it's not irksome. We're doing great. But yes, Fourth Wing. For those that don't know, let me read a little bit about what it is. 20-year-old Violet Sorrengale. It was supposed to enter the scribe. I did this the last time. You remember I did this last time? Scribe. Yeah. What's another word for scribe quadrant? It was supposed to be a scribe, living a quiet life amongst books and history, but now the commanding general, also known as her mother, has ordered Violet to join the hundreds of candidates striving to become the elite of Navarre dragon riders. Even if you don't pass the dragon riders part, go to the infirmary. Go to be infantry. Every person who's willing to conscript should have a place.
Yeah, you think so. Like, you think logically they would have somewhere to go, not just throw them away. Like, there's so many places that could be useful. Like, but nope.
And it was like, I don't want to do this. Well, you're gonna die. And it's like, put him in the archives. Oh, I guess they had like a deal that was made. Poor dude, he didn't want to be a dragon rider. It just, and like also, this irked me. The dragons that just decide to kill other dragons riders. They're like, oh, they're too close. You're dead now. You're like, what kind of conversation are you having after that? Because apparently the bond between the dragon and their chosen rider is so strong. So if Percy is just cutting a lap and decides to kill, you know, this random rider, and the other dragon's going to be like, out of everyone, I chose them. They were my rider. And they're like, yeah, they pissed me off. And you're like, yeah, that makes sense. I'll wait till next year and I'll try again, shall I? Make it make sense. Is anyone drinking tonight? Okay, the drinking game is if I yell, make it make sense, drink. You're on 2 or 3 already, I believe.
I'm gonna need to grab another one.
You sure are. You sure are. Dude, where's my rider? Even says Ropanda. They go back to the council and they're like, dude, that was my rider. That was mine. What are you doing? Don't do that. Black Belt says we'd all be drunk already. Robin says, I'm glad I'm not drinking then. Just water. Yeah. Bartleby Prime says, I mean, if it was socially acceptable, it would be tempting to immolate people that annoy me. That's a relatable dragon fantasy. Yeah. How many people do you think you would have killed in your time if you were just allowed to snuff out anyone that was irksome and bothersome and you didn't like? I'd be on double figures. Because there's no consequences in this book. Really? Are there? Not really. Oh, they're dead. Jack Marlowe's trying to do killing blows. Oh, mate, don't do that. Come on. Like.
Only if you kill someone in their bed.
Yeah. True. R.I.P. Amber. That whole thing didn't make sense either. Yeah, Lisa said the exact same thing. Tate says, I'm working, but I'm happy to start with an Irish coffee. Nice. Avery says, not Jack Barlow. And that's how I thought you said it, at least. Is that like the tone in which that came across? Oh, not Jack Barlow. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I can go through all the gripes. Wait, I'm reading what it's all about. When you're smaller than everyone else and your body is brittle, death is only a heartbeat away. Because dragons don't bond to fragile humans, they just incinerate them. With fewer dragons willing to bond than cadets, most would kill Violet to better their own chances of success. The rest of the world would just kill her for being her mother's daughter, like Xaden Ryerson, the most powerful and ruthless wing leader in the Riders Quadrant. Enemy. She'll need every edge her wits can give her just to see the next sunrise. Do we ever, ever, ever feel that tension? Like, they would be pushing like sleeping brew potions just so like people will get a good night's sleep. Like what you would be beside yourself. Like if you sprained your ankle, you're like, cool, that has just increased my chances of dying by 70%. In Red Riding, they ate each other to survive. Like,
well, like you mentioned with the injuries, like Violet was actually injured for like a lot of the book.
Yeah.
Like in general, she's just constantly injured. And
let's give her lightning. Let's give her lightning. Make it make sense. I actually do have a list of all the powers and what they can do, and I would like us all to go through them and say why they got that particular power. Bree says the first half stream of this book is what made me read Red Rising. Bree's reading Red Rising. What do you think so far? What do you think of it? Because we wanted it to be, this book meets Red Rising, so have a little bit more of like that ferocity and brutality of Red Rising for this book. It would have been a completely different book. So you can still have sexy time, like, but it's like out of fear and desperation, you know? Feminine Fig is reading Red Rising too because of the conversation last time. Terry says, of course it's a light-based power. Her love interest's power is shadow-based. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Also, her mum is a storm wielder. Mum's bringing the storm, she's bringing the lightning. But I didn't realize that reading it. I read it when I did a deep dive researching for tonight's show. I did not see Violet as Thor. I still can't. Bree says, I finished it and now I'm avoiding finishing Golden Sun to preserve my feelings. Oh, who's going to tell her? Bree, if you have a pet, cuddle them close. Yeah, Tim, yes.
Bree, just rip the Band-Aid off. That's all I can say.
In fact, Bree, we're covering Iron Gold, which is book 4 in the series in November. So you've got like 5 weeks to read 3 books. That's fine. 2 books. 2 books. You can do it. Trust me, if you rip the Band-Aid, you won't be able to stop. You will not be able to stop reading them. Avery says, it does make sense because Xaden's a shadow wielder. Cough, the Darkling, cough. Not only the Darkling, but fucking Rhysand. I mean, shadows is like the thing at the moment. I like the fact that he's got the shadow power because he keeps secrets. Like, I think that makes sense. And I like things that make sense. But it is very much a thing at the moment where like the dark and mysterious can weave shadows. So of course he has to control the dangerous version of light. Yeah, that does make sense. Yay! Don't drink every time it makes sense. Blackwell says she's now a mix between Thor and Doctor Strange with Andana's ability to stop time. Except Andana has lost that ability. I have theories on that too. Stay tuned. Jimmy! What was that last comment? He shrugs like that. J Bunt Rock says, if Dain were the maiden love interest, what would be the opposite power of face, touch, mind reading? Oh, okay. Good question. Well, if you were Dain's love interest, well, you'd already unalive yourself. But if you did stay with Dain, the opposite power to attract a mind reading, busybody, know-it-all would be... Dain is worse than Gale. The ability to remove memories. Robin, are you trying to say that Imogen and Dain are going to get together? Because Dain can... You know what? If Imogen can whip him into shape, if Imogen can have a positive... But she wants Garrett. She likes Garrett. Is it so bad that I was like, I wish they took Garrett instead of Liam? Just swap them. Isn't that bad? I don't want Dain to be redeemed, says Black Belt. Fair? Yeah, okay. Who have we got here? Oh, Nick, you're in here. Nick, tell me about the book. What'd you give it out of 5? Now, you power read this one, didn't you?
Yeah, I plowed through because I didn't make the first stream.
Lovely to have you.
I gave it
here.
4. Yeah, I gave it 4 out of 5. It was, I rolled my eyes a lot, but I think there was enough like fun stuff to keep me going and keep me interested in book 2. But I think the more I've sat with it and like the more we talk about it and stuff, the lower my ranking might go. So it's just a fun read, nothing to get analyzed too deep.
I think the story was very interesting. I was quite enraptured with these characters. I thought the pacing was great. When I picked it up, I didn't want it to end. When I was able to switch off and just try to enjoy it for what it was, I could enjoy it, especially the second half more than the first half. But then when I re-listened to that first half, it was arduous. And re-listening to the second time, I still found faults and flaws. It's not airtight or watertight at all. There are problems with it, but I have to credit the fact that this book was fun. It was fun. It just be like, and I can't sit here being like, but it had potential, or what if it had a darker sort of feel to it and did focus on the brutality of the situation and gave it the weight that it earns. But like Avery, you said it. You're like in the second or third last chapter of the book. You're like, where was this writing the whole book? Did that turn it around for you? Because you still only gave it a 2 out of 5.
A little bit, but the problem was that I felt like that didn't match up with the rest of the book. So even though I really enjoyed the last couple of chapters, they it felt disconnected.
Yeah.
Because it was just so different.
Yeah. And it's like if it could have been that instead of just at the end, it's like, yeah, you'd have to rewrite the whole book to kind of suit that last bit, which I don't think that's a bad thing at all. I don't think that's a bad thing. So 2 out of 5 is our lowest score from Avery. Lisa gave it a 4. Nick's given it, you said 4, but that could change by the end of this conversation. Venin, what did you give it? 3.5 was it? 4?
3.
Just a straight up 3.
Yep, just 3. Yeah, I had a lot of issues with the inconsistencies, the characters seemingly being very off, like what they said, the overlusting, and just like that wasn't that bad, I guess, but like just I felt like they didn't make a lot of sense, like to people, especially Jack too. Like, so they talk a lot about in the book about how they have to make sure they have to like call the weak, otherwise if someone's on your squad and they're weak, they'll make the rest of the squad fail essentially.
Did we have any example of that actually happening? No. Yeah. Okay.
Like ever. Like, I mean, they talk about it a lot, and people go through all the extreme, like Jack did a lot of dumb things. So, but like one of the more ridiculous ones was on the parapet. Like he's chasing after her, like on the parapet when it's super dangerous for him too, and he's putting his life in danger then, and then during the threshing when he's trying to pick up the dragons, like he does all these extremely dangerous things that
could
work against
risk him. Yeah, could risk his safety, could risk his elimination. Yeah,
just to kill someone that he doesn't like, and on this supposed idea of calling the weak, and it really makes no sense.
Because that makes him in turn really weak, because he's flirting with danger and he's putting himself in unnecessary danger because his vengeance is like bleeding into his actions so heavily. That is a form of weakness, and so people should eliminate him.
Yeah, it makes them feel, it makes the characters feel like just dumb. Like that's probably the problem. Like even Violet, who does a lot of smart things in the book, does a lot of things that also not as many, but like just some stuff that makes no sense also, and it's just like like this is the person who's the smartest in the group, the person who's considered the genius, the brilliant one, and she does a lot of things that are just really confusing, like we mentioned.
They spoke more about her being smart than there was actual evidence of her being smart. The talk of, and this is what I didn't like, because this does happen a lot in the book. We have to cull the weak. Okay, well, show us how that's a problem and show us why this is necessary. She's the smartest person I've ever met. I love her brilliant brain. She took too long to figure out a bunch of things, and she doesn't trust you because she hadn't figured it out early. Like, when was she smart? Her ego and stubbornness is getting in the way of her, like, actually training to not fall off the dragon every single time. Oh, I don't like that you have to do that. Then do fucking something about it. Because if you're just complaining and not actually doing anything to change that, you're stupid. Oh no, but she's the smartest person anyone's ever met. Where?
Yeah, that's how I kind of felt too. Yeah, like she has, like I said, she did a number of things, like the whole thing with the poisons and stuff, and with the food, and other stuff, and stuff with she figured out with the not parapet with the like the ninja course thing.
But half that shit was given to her in a book by Brennan. That wasn't actually her coming up with it. That was handed to her as a survival.
Kind of, yeah, it is true. To some extent, she was helped quite a bit by that, and also her sister saved her so many times with her armor and all that. But yeah, also like just how she keeps talking about how she keeps thinking endlessly that Thane's gonna kill her, and he's proven so many times at the point like he's not gonna kill her at all. Like he's clearly helping her, doing so much to help her, and she's like, I can't trust you. I think you're gonna murder me. Like every second, and like it made sense for a while, but like after.
No, and I think I brought that up in the Fable app, where it was like, it would have made more sense if she was trying to convince herself, where she's like trying to use like, no, like stop falling so hard. This is like she's trying, she didn't put any logic into it. And every single time it was her genuine thought, it made her seem more stupid because there was so much evidence against the fact. And she's just like pieces it together sometimes. Oh, he made me a harness. Oh, he gave me the daggers. So he does care about me. And it's like, he's been written in a way where everything he does is caring about you. So when you sit there and you're like, oh, I don't know, it's like, well, we do. So if we know and you don't, and you're the smart one, make it make sense. Thank you. Robin, what did you give it?
I originally gave it a 4. And then after our first discussion, it went down to 3.
I still gave it a 4. I had to dock a star. Shit, maybe I'll go down a little bit more. I had to dock a star because of the lack of sense.
I don't know. I do recall you giving a book 2 stars, but not finishing it. So I feel like your rating scale is off.
I think I gave that one 1. I want to talk to you about that book as well in the after show, because I saw that you did DNF and you lasted 25% of it, and I think I lasted 10. I was like the first 5 chapters, and I was like, nope. But we'll talk about that. Yeah, look, maybe my rating system is a little bit off. Thank you for holding me accountable for my lack of consistency, which we do not stand for because we want things to make sense. I give it a 3.5. Get it in my Goodreads. I'll do it. 3.5. It was fun, and I want to read the next book. And the characters,
I still want to read the next one.
The characters sat with me after the fact. Like I was just like kind of like craving more of the story afterwards because it does this, and then it's like whoo, and then it leaves you, and you're like no, more of that, please. But the Venin's just a fairy tale, even though my dad did write something that indicated that they were real. And I've just like learnt from scribes and the fact that they eliminated all the information on it, which means that it's a taboo topic, but I just don't know. 3.5. Jay Buntrock, what'd you give this one?
I gave it a 3 out of 5.
Okay.
The biggest issue was the dragons. You only really get to know Taryn, and he's almost comic relief through most of the book. And then you almost see him completely change character when the big reveal comes. When she finds out she's been lied to by everyone, then Taryn changes and he becomes a much more interesting dragon, I thought. And that's that seems to be when everyone really started enjoying the book.
Yeah.
Is when that change happens.
Yeah.
And then I was wondering, Xaden was almost like that guy in prison that you can go to have anything made, and then you kind of figure out why that's happening at the end.
Right. Actually, elaborate on that. I want to hear more about that from your point of view.
About Xaden?
Yeah.
Because, you know, he's an outcast. He's shunned. Society doesn't like him. How is he getting all these elaborate things made? Like a harness on a dragon. No one noticed that? Like, how's this dude bringing this in? It doesn't quite make sense. And now that makes me think there's another thing that makes sense is when Taryn is looking like he wants to kill Xaden. That doesn't make any sense. He should know better that he can't kill Xaden because that'll kill everyone else too.
Yep. And that he would absolutely break Sigale even thinking that. I think it would be cute if they had a bickering kind of like sibling relationship where it's like they had to put up with each other. That would be cool.
Yeah, the last 2 chapters are exciting enough that I'd probably read the next book just to see what goes through and if my theories in my head are correct where she's going with all this. Oh.
Thank you so much to Skull Cleaver, by the way. Sorry. They have subscribed 26 total. Still around for the great community, says Skull Cleaver. So great to have you here. We are talking about Fourth Wing. It is a romantasy book. We are talking about how even though it's got a good story, some of the shit just don't make sense, and it should. I cried when I saw we were reading the next one, says Avery. Are you going to read Iron Flame now that it's going to continue the best chapters of the last book?
I will read it because I really enjoy the discussions, but I might complain about it the whole time.
I welcome it with open arms. I really, really do. Bartleby Prime says, I don't know that I needed the first half of the book to sell me on the story on the second half. Yeah. Okay. Venin says that would have been really cool if he did. Xaden did happen to have a lot of connections to get her stuff. Yeah, he got her a whole set of smaller daggers to suit her fighting style. And Dana ended up getting a harness to connect onto 10. Like, yeah, he had the hookup, all right. Tiri says, I still want to read the second book just to find out what the F the deal is with the brother and how much her mum knows about her husband's research on Venin and she's not sharing, and if she's involved in Xaden's group or not. There is a really great website called EmpyreanWriters.com where I have gotten a lot of research and looked into a lot of fan theories. And there is a fan theory that Lilith is actually not a bad person. She's not evil. So it'd be really interesting to see who is covering this all up. Are the scribes blindly following orders, and why aren't they arcing up that the whole recorded history is in fact a lie, which is a complete breach of their ethics and what they stand for? I do like that it was hinted at where someone said, the scribes are actually kind of powerful, like they have the ability to rewrite history. And Violet goes, that they know, like, that is an underestimation of what they're capable of. And you're like, okay, that's interesting. We spoke last time actually about having if someone was in the scribe quadrant, the portion. And so you had a scribe member's point of view and a rider's point of view. We've never really learnt much about the healers. We've never really learnt much about the infantry. Hell, I didn't even know about it until we did the quiz on Maude's Book Club's Instagram. And I was in the infantry. I had a word to my team about that. I was like, oh, do not hang me out as a Pisces. You don't do that to me. Because then I started doing my moon and rising signs as well, being like, surely. No, I was a healer and I was in the archives. There was nothing about me. 3 out of 4. I am not a dragon rider in any capacity. And so we might actually have to delete that post. No, I'm kidding. If you do want to do that, head over to our Instagram and put your results in the chat. I would love to hear. Skull Cleaver says, complaining is still a discussion. That is my favorite thing about Maude's Book Club. We really do have a full array of opinions and thoughts with this. And Avery, you have such a unique point of view having studied literature. Like, you have such an academic sort of look at this. I come from an escaping point of view. Like, I like to escape into a story. I love the fantastical parts of it all. I don't usually get super bogged down by logic. I can switch off and just enjoy, except this one, because there were so many loopholes. Chris says he kept ramming his dagger in her sheath. And she just kept saying, hot. They could have died 7 times that day, and yet here they are. Terry says, quick links in Book of the Month Discord section for fan casting discussion if you get it. Oh, I was supposed to change it so I could click this little sneaky button and I would have here. No, it's not showing, and I don't know why. Show chat. Done. Show. Bing. No. No, I don't know why it's not showing. I press that and it should be good to go. Oh, because I don't have show chat up. Show chat. No? Yay! Great. That's the button I had to get. Wait, I don't like where you are. There you go. Did you put it in show chat? Or did you put it in members chat? I can only show chat apparently. Oh, I'm just showing everything. This is paid stuff here. Terry, can you pop the or is it in members chat and I have to change it? Let me know. Terry, are you there? I'm talking to you. Did you put it in members chat? No. Wait, Book of the Month? I can
Book of the Month, yeah.
Book of the Month. Okay, let me do 2 seconds. I think I can just do that. Yay! Okay, so this is Terry's fan casting. I had structure for this show. It's gone out the window, just like the things that make sense in the book. We don't need it where we're going. Structure. So Terry's fan casting is, this is Violet Sorrengail, Maude Apatow. Why Maude, Terry? Because the world needs more Maude.
Yes, that, and also she fits the description.
I could see her with a long braid with silver ends. That works. You got the sister Mira, played by Adelaide Kane? Adelaide, I thought it was. Adeline. Adelaide Kane. She's Australian. I like that.
Yeah.
General Lilith Sorrengail. We've got Charlize Theron here. We like that. Xaden. Gabriel Guevara? Sure. He's cute. He looks like his hair looks a little orangey here, but I think it might be the light. We need someone who's dark and brooding. There's some nice lips though. Is he old enough to say that about? I got to watch him. Yes, I got the yes. Nice lips. Dain.
Yeah, they're all over 20.
Good. Dain Atos. Okay, I could see that. This is Tanner Buchanan. Tanner Buchanan for Dain. Jack Barlow, you want Will Poulter for that one. Is it because he's got a punchable face? What is it? Yep, he just nodded for that one. Liam is Peyton Myers. What's Peyton been in? Is he 6'4" or something? He needs to be a big boy.
He was in Girls Meet World.
Oh, okay. They got cancelled after a season, I believe. Imogen.
No, it lasted for 4 seasons.
My bad. Good. Oh, Girl Meets World, not How I Met Your Father. I'm getting those two mixed up. Imogen is Maya Hawke. I love the fact that it's got the pink hair, especially. That's really good. Rhiannon is Taddy Gabrielle. I love this. I think that's great. Riddick is... this is our Blue Beetle, Sholo. Yeah, like that. For the dragon voice, Tan is Chris Hemsworth. Well, I mean, that explains the Thor powers. And Dana, Mandy Moore. That's sweet. Sigale is Lena Headey. I think that would be a great one. And then, do you consider Maude for any of these roles? Oh my god. That's Amanda. I love every single fan cast, especially Mandy Moore for Andana, my precious little golden bean. Cute. And
I didn't have time this week to do it, but I cast you as the Griffin leader. Griffin Rider leader.
Yeah, she's like only a couple of years older than Violet. Yeah, that's about right. Good maths. Good maths on that one. So there's a little fan casting there. If you've got your own casting that you would like to put in, head on into the Discord. we'll make it easy for you by putting a clickable link in the chat. Join. It's open for all. We love talking about the book of the month, especially if you've been in the Fable. Some great discussions were happening there. Nicolas Cage is perfect for Dain. He's supposed to be 20, 21. Oh, I'm 21. Nicolas Cage. I mean, I'm not going to knock it.
Nicolas Cage has some huge range.
Doesn't he just? Wib Wobbler says, reminds me of Harry Potter. Makes no sense for any parent to send their child to Hogwarts. Meh. At least they mostly come back. This one's just. Hey, fellow kids. Nice one, Venin. I know exactly what you're saying with that. Who hasn't given me their rating yet? Jimmy!
Hello. Yes, my rating is 4 out of 5.
Okay. What'd you like?
I'll tell you that in a moment.
He's got notes.
I always have notes.
Can I?
Anyway.
There he is. Go, show us your notes.
Oh, okay, sure. I'll tell you my notes. So I'm just gonna break it down for you simply.
Yep.
I think the pros. I'm just gonna break it down the pros and cons.
Yep.
So the pros of this book, it's very easy to read.
It is.
You know.
Agree.
Also, even though it's a trope, the enemies to lover thing, it works pretty well.
It does.
You know,
it does.
because of the trauma bonding, because Xaden and Violet both had difficult family relations and such.
Mm-hmm.
The Xaden himself is quite goofy, which I thought was funny.
Yes,
and
I like that.
Violet is very likable. Like
Violet's fairly likable.
Character in the whole entire book.
Violet being likable?
Yes, that's just me. I'm giving you my opinion.
Yep.
You don't have to agree with them, obviously. So another thing I liked was the rich history that each family had, and how much lore there was.
Mm-hmm.
Like they didn't even touch in much of it, but I'm just saying that.
Mm-hmm.
And the story itself is very suspenseful, fun, and action packed.
Agree.
You know, the cons of the book is that Dain being just as a friend is confusing. I don't even know why they even tried to do that in the beginning of the book. Exactly. Failed trumpet. So many characters are put into this book like Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And then they're just like thrown away. Why are there so many characters?
Because they have to kill them to drive the point that every day should be fearful, but that actually doesn't end up happening.
Gotcha.
I think the biggest shame should be, you know what, we can't have you on the front lines. You are not strong or brave or talented enough. We're going to put you into the healer's quadrant, or like the scribe quadrant. I wish there was sort of like, I wish that made a little bit more sense, because when you have stakes to be this extreme, but you don't capture the essence of what that is in the whole book, make it make sense. Make it make sense.
And so, like, the language, some of the language is very frustrating.
Agree.
Like it's a little odd, and I would have preferred if they would have talked about how Violet overcame a lot of her physical challenges, but that they didn't really talk about that
at all.
You know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. In the first half, that they did, and then she kind of Mary Sued the second half of the book. You're right. And I know that term is a little bit problematic, but it's like, I love the fact that there was an inclusiveness about, you know, Dain going, are you strapping your knee? You know, she's like, oh, I have to put in extra effort to make sure that that's not going to let me down and kill me. And you're right. They could have done so much with that, and it wasn't there. It wasn't there.
That's it.
Nice. Good. I like your notes. A lot of fun to have that. Yes. And I agree with a lot of what you said too. We are having a discussion though. Was it Black Belt? Black Belt? Who was it? Who started that conversation? Jay Buntrock. You started the conversation. I'd love you to take that, because this is actually in my notes and it was irksome for me. But the question that you posed in the chat, would you like to unmute and ask everyone else about it?
Yeah, the Xaden loving to call Violet violence, and I understand why she can't say anything, because, you know, as soon as she lets Xaden know it bothers her, he's gonna go hard on it. I would imagine so.
Yep.
I'm surprised Rhiannon or someone would be like, dude, that's really stupid. Just stop. But
So,
did he say it around other people, or was it a private thing?
No, I think he was saying it in front of everyone. And I think what was irksome for me is that he kind of talks to her and says, you know what, I was out to get you initially, and then I fell for you. So I kind of wish it was his evolution of, like, you know, when violence became Violet, and when he truly saw her. So he dropped the nickname because he was, like, really seeing her for the first time. I would have liked it to be used like that, because I think, Avery, you had the same problem when he's trying to explain to her a dire situation. Listen to me, I'm telling the truth, the Venin are coming, all of this kind of stuff. Violence, please listen to me. You're like, what the fuck? Why are you calling her the pet nickname when you're trying to get her attention and you're trying to get through to her? Make it make sense, you know? Like, that to me, it didn't really make sense. And I thought there was a really good opportunity to evolve or, like, diffuse the nickname, and it to be subtle enough that you start recognizing and realizing that he's dropped violence as a nickname. Was it supposed to indicate or lean into the fact that she did have such an offensive power that was unleashed, and so he was able to see her because the violence was a good thing?
Yeah, I think that it's like that. Basically, she, even though we don't really like the name, I guess, she seems to be fine with it and like it near the end, because people see her as being frail and weak, all that stuff. That's what she's told throughout her life. And even throughout the book, you know, people are like, oh, you're the weak link, we're going to have to kill you off. And she calls her violence, and she likes it in that he recognizes that she's strong and that she has power. And so I guess in that respect, she likes it in that respect, because she likes being recognized for her skill and her abilities.
But then she has so much shame when she discovers what her power actually is. She breaks down going, I wanted to be the one who would fix things. I thought I would be a mender like my brother. I can only bring death. And she's so broken about the fact that she thought she would be able to do something that would help other people, but all she's capable of is death and destruction. And it's like, why can't he, when he kept calling her violence after that, it made it seem like he was belittling her, I think, personally, because she confided in this. I feel like a monster. And so he was like, cool, I'm going to call you violence, and I'm going to keep calling you violence, even though you feel like a goddamn monster. And it was Avery who said she's crying because Liam died. And he's like, violence, run. It's like times like that. It's like, that ain't it. That's not doing what you think it's doing. Hyoko says the evolution of violence to accepting her actual name would have been sweet. Agree. Bree says him calling her violence right before any form of intimacy was so cringe. Agree. Hey, you want to get down? Yeah, violence. Let's go. You're like, no, thank you. No, thank you. That's a big old no from me. Just Rob says chose violence. He chose violence. Catch22 says, well, that's one drink down, because we've had to say make it make sense too often. Blue Reader Girl says maybe he sees a darker side in her, so hence the nickname violence. Maybe that's what the author wanted. It didn't work. Toast Poster says the violence nickname would have been more impactful if Violet didn't want to be a soldier/killer and did everything in her power to be a scribe. Okay, yeah, I get that. You know, he's like seeing her, the true her. Terry says, well, Xaden likes it rough. Maybe that's why he called her violence. Again, I don't think she's like high-fiving herself, being like, yeah, me, cool. I broke the window. Violence. Like, yeah, that one. I'm glad you brought that up though, J Bone, because that was like, I think, a really good conversation to have. Because I think it had potential, but it just didn't quite work. Okay, we're an hour in. I want to talk about some of the other I'll go through it part by part, and then I want to get through the powers as well. So a little walk through part 2. Liam has been assigned to Violet to watch over since the assassination attempt. Xaden's warded her rooms. Why is it okay for Xaden to put a 24/7 pretty much protector on her and then ward the rooms without asking, but when Dain wants to protect her and save her and keep her safe, that's ugly and awful. But when Xaden does it, it's so thoughtful and sweet. What? Someone explain. Or is it not? And was that also kind of fucked up?
It was kind of fucked up.
Cool, there it is.
I think
sorry,
it was kind of fucked up, but good.
The sound's not working, and I don't know why. Adam, if you're there, I don't know why my sound's no longer working, but we've got two. I got a bad feeling about this that have gone through, and they haven't actually gone through, if you know what I'm saying. And I don't know why. I'm so sorry. I want to try and give you back your 300 points. Does any mods know how to reimburse? If we can do that, that'd be great. Black Whale said her lightning was starting forest fires when they're banging willy-nilly. It's very irresponsible. Agree. Yes. Oh, no. Tim, what? Is that true? Why did...
Yes, it's true. I had an ex, and her name was Violet, and she leaned into the nickname Violence. In fact, we used to joke that if she was a Care Bear, she would be Brutal Bear. Like, she leaned into it, and that should have been a sign. And it clearly wasn't, because I'm a dumbass.
That's a lot to unpack, Tim.
It's fine. It was
that's a lot
12 years ago.
Okay.
It was forever ago. It was just funny.
Okay. Well, Thierry's talking about the question I had. What are the chances, though? What are the chances that that's happening in the book and it's a real life thing that you went through? Anyway, Thierry said it was bad at first, but Liam became a great friend, which is good. And then it was bad again because Liam died. Oops. Emotional roller coaster there. On a trip to the scribes, she asked for a copy of that fairy tale book. I had a name for it, but I've already forgotten it. The Tales of Brennan or something. The Tales of something. The fairy tale book that her father had given her that she didn't get to bring with her, but there's no copy of it. In fact, no one's even heard of it before. Avery, did you spot that a mile away? That one was a bit boop. Oh, this book that I like? No, we've never heard about it. You're like, oh.
It kept being brought up.
Yeah.
Repeatedly. So I was like, okay, so they're real.
Yeah,
they're
duly
show
noted.
Up at the end.
I
it's
thought
probably going to be related to the Tirish Rebellion.
I got full wind of that in the first chapter when we got exposition info dumped, because I thought it was so much to not only talk about the Dragon Academy, the threshing process, all of that kind of stuff, but then throw in this like, oh, but there's a fable, but let me tell you about A, B, C, D, E, and F of that as well. And you're like, hold on, I'm just trying to get through the basics, and you're throwing this like curveball of something that I'm guessing we're not going to hear about for another half of a book. So I want to focus on the shit at hand, which is the parapet, the first thing, you know, what people are like, who to avoid. That's the essentials. So to have that in the first chapter, I want to bring this book because let me just spend like four paragraphs just telling you about why this book's my favorite one and why it's so bad that I have to leave it behind. I was like, okay. So that was like it for me, but you're right. It did keep getting brought up and you're just like, boom. Jay Button Rock says, also, why would the dad leave such a cryptic note? Just tell her it's real to prepare. Dare I say, just make it make sense. You know? If it's a hidden note and no one else has that book and there's no other copies. Psst. Baby cakes. V-Dog. Venin? It's how I died. Heart attack? No, that's what we'll tell everyone. I got poisoned by a venin blade because of those wyverns. Yeah, agree. Robin says that book from her dad had a real Maltese Falcon vibe. What's Maltese Falcon?
It's essentially like if you see the object, like that object's going to be important. It's from the movie The Maltese Falcon.
Oh, there's a movie called The Maltese Falcon?
Yes.
See, now you guys don't have Maltesers, the little chocolate malt balls in America, and I just assumed it was an chocolatey edible goodness.
We have Whoppers, and they're the same thing.
They're not the same.
They're not the same.
They're not the same. That's like saying Smarties are like M&Ms. They are not. They are trying, but they're
one's
not.
Fruit and one's chocolate.
No, Smarties. Australian Smarties. They're like chocolate buttons. They're big M&Ms. They're not the same. Look up someone help me with, put it in the show chat. Smarties. The Smarties. Meh. Your Smarties are different. It makes And so this is how the candy wars began, says Venin. Yeah, I'm going to order some Maltesers and compare. Yes, great idea. Smarties in America are similar to sweet tarts. Oh, okay, yeah, they're very different. Smarties, come on, I will. Show's on hold. Maude needs to make a point. Smarties, Australia. Oh, they're so fucking wannabe. They want to be Maltesers so bad. And then they're not.
So for Halloween, are we going to do an Australian versus American candy showdown? Stream?
I actually, over Christmas time, brought a bunch of American candy back to like my nephews and things like. You've already posted it in there, but I got another one. That's a bit. See how they're like trying to be Maltesers? I mean, sorry, M&Ms, and they're not. That's a Smartie, and they're just sad M&Ms. But that's what a Whopper is to a Malteser. Can someone put Maltesers in there? You're faster than I am at the moment. I'm a bit slow today.
Anyways, how'd the American candy go over in Australia?
Pretty fucking awful, actually. There were some that were, yeah, that's them. Oh, Maltesers are good. Pop that in the show chat if you could, J-Bone. Right? That's the shit right there. The winning candy were Starburst jelly beans. Because I don't know if anyone remembers, but 2017 was a very Starburst jelly bean year for me, where I ate 2 bags in 3 days, and I had to do that, so I never wanted another one again, and it worked.
Why not just regular Starburst?
Because we have those in Australia, but we don't have the Starburst jelly beans, and I fucking love jelly beans.
Well, who doesn't?
We have Smarties McFlurries in Canada. Yeah, Canada would use a poor man's M&M. Why? Terry's face! It took a second and he was like... I gotta say, I love Australian soft licorice, says Xaden. I don't even like that, but my dad was a big fan, so I hear it's very, very good. I just think licorice is... bleh. Toast Poster says, Tim Tams are so good. Correct. Buttery Prime says, I worked with a Dublin-Sydney team, and I've had to listen to arguments about penguins versus Tim Tams every day. What's a penguin?
It's a little flightless bird.
No! Someone had to, and it was always going to be Tim, wasn't it? It was always going to be Tim.
Ken's not here. Someone has to pick up the flag.
True. Just Rob says, we learned it on a podcast about Aussie candy. Yeah, because picnic bars. Picnic bars are the ones I just fucking love. Picnic bars. Picnics are, it's like a Snickers and a Chomp. What's a Chomp? I know, I'm sorry. So a picnic bar is like a layered wafer, like those yum, layered stacked wafer with like yum in the middle, and then layers of roasted peanut around the outside. So you got the wafer and then roasted peanut, and its advertising was so clever because it basically called it the ugly chocolate. Because when you look at it, it looks like a turd. Like, absolutely, it looks like a turd. But it is the most delicious chocolate bar. I really want to try an Aussie Choc Top. You got it? Yeah, you get them at the theaters. I think I had one last time I went there because I was like so nostalgic for it. I was a Magnum. I liked Magnums and drumsticks and all that. Like a Baby Ruth, but lumpier. Okay. Are we putting picnic bar? Yeah. Well, no, that's the British picnic one. That's the Cadbury British one. Ours were red and yellow. So the red and yellow picnic, but that's kind of essentially it. They're so good. Who was it? Someone kept sending me picnic bars in my PO box. It was the happiest day. I'd get like a 3-month supply, so I'd eat it in 4 days. Anyway, no more chocolate. Got to hit the lolly aisle in my lunch break today, says Tate the Aussie. Hey, Tate the Aussie, what are your favorite chocolates and lollies? What are your favorite ones? And why is it also picnic bar? Because it's a tits. Thank you. J. Button Rock says, I heard Australians love to come to America and go to Cheesecake Factory. There are so many options. I loved it. I first discovered Cheesecake Factory when I was in Hawaii, and there was a line, and I was like, wow, this place must be so good. There's a line to get in, and it's 4 p.m. And so we, my then boyfriend and I decided we are gonna try Cheesecake Factory. And we got there, they're like, here is your menu. And you were like, oh my gosh. I was like, how do you choose a meal when there's 4,286 selections there? Anyway, I had a great time. I'm Team Cheesecake Factory. I'm all about it. I'm quite a fan. Snickers, Picnic, Smarties. You like Smarties? I have just died on the hill saying Smarties is a poor man's M&M, and here you come into the chat saying you love a Smartie. No one likes Smarties. No one likes Smarties. You know what? Just like Violet, you can call it a Smartie, but it doesn't necessarily have to be smart, does it? Smarties. The violets of chocolates. Okay, we brought it back full circle here. Should the Cheesecake Factory menu be your next book? Don't joke about that, Just Rob, because that's kind of the shit that I would pull. I would literally, December's book, Cheesecake Factory menu. I want you to stop at the halfway mark, page 468, and then we'll continue the next week with the rest of the, and I want you to highlight your favorites. Smarties used to be better. Freckles top everything. No, the caramel buds and the white chocolate ones. Oh, they're so good. So good. Penguins are the UK version of Tim Tams. They claim the Aussies stole the design of Tim Tams. It's a whole thing. Yeah, we had better advertising, didn't we? Dad loves the Baja tacos. Okay. Circus peanuts and candy corn are the best. I'll candy corn? Get out. It's time to go. Are you saying that as a joke, or are you being facetious? You actually like candy corn? I thought candy corn was the shit stain of Halloween candy. What happened? You have good taste. I don't understand.
Candy corn is just sugar. It's all it is. It's just pressed sugar. There's nothing else in it.
Oh,
It's
no.
just a once a year treat. I don't think you could eat it any other time than October.
Everyone,
candy corn is just sugar and honey. That's all it is.
No, Tim, I think we're in the minority. Everyone looks like they love candy corn.
No, I like candy corn. I'm just saying it's all it is sugar and honey. That's it. There's nothing else to it.
Lifesavers! Osiris Manpaul, you're so right. Lifesavers. They had musk flavor. Remember when they had spearmint musk? But Tutti Frutti. Tutti Frutti. So good. Okay, we've got to get back on track with this fucking book. Control Alt Bake. I love candy corn every year. It's perfect in its design, taste, and nostalgia. Oh, you do have Lifesavers over here? Yeah, good. Good stuff. There you go. Vaden says, no, I am not a fan of candy corn at all.
Butter rum Lifesavers, the single greatest flavor ever invented.
What? Is butter rum like a butter beer? If butter beer could be a lifesaver?
It's like a butterscotch, yeah.
Yum.
Single greatest Lifesavers flavor ever invented. Backside
of Water says, I was always a huge fan of Jolly Ranchers. Blue Reader Girl comes in with the curveball. Pez candy. If you liked Pez, was just the dispenser, wasn't it? It was more of a collectible than a good quality candy. I've been on a Sour Patch Kids kick. Fuck yeah, that's some good stuff. I love a good Sour Patch. First they're mean and then they're sweet. What's the slogan? First they're sour. Is that it? Just and then they're sweet. Okay, well, it's in the name, isn't it? I really bungled that one up quite publicly. Bree says fourth wing is crumpled into the corner under a pile of candy wrappers. Welcome to Maude's Book Club. Twizzlers are the best candy though. Nick, okay, I can talk to you because you're in Members Plus. What the fuck? Twizzlers is the best? I'm trying not to sound and
absolutely
look judgmental. No. Twizzlers is not the best.
I'll give you Twizzler nibs.
Go on, Nick. I need to hear. You started that. You got to finish it. You said Twizzlers are the best candy, though.
Yep. Best.
That's not.
Banned.
Yeah, you might want to take a lap. Just walk it off a little bit. That's no. J. Button Rock says my wife loves red vines and hates Twizzlers. So now there's a whole. Darren's just popped in. Red vines are far better than Twizzlers. Okay. Bree's a diehard Twixer. Loves a good Twix. Avery says I only really like chocolate candies. Oh, we have sidetracked hard. What book? And this is like the better half of the book as well. But like, Do you like licorice? Yay or nay? Are we fans of licorice in the house here? Do we like... Licorice can jog on. The sour, the better, says Toaster Poster when it comes to sour candy. Do you remember when Warheads... Oh, this is dating how old I am. Do you remember when Warheads had hot Warheads? So they were sour and they were hot. A kid in the
Warhead.
Yeah, a kid in the 3rd grade gave me a hot Warhead when I was in the 1st grade. You know, they're like, don't take candy from a stranger. He was Stephen Sheehan's older brother. And I was like, I know Stephen. And he's like, here, do you want this? And I was like, yes. That candy burnt my mouth so bad. And anytime someone says Warheads, I'm taken straight back. I know exactly where it was, under the year 1 block next to the water fountains. And I was like, I don't like it. And he laughed at me, thought it was so funny. Robert. I've just remembered his name. Robert.
Yeah. We had a kid fall asleep on the bus ride once, and he left his mouth open, and we just put a Warhead in his mouth.
What's the most evil shit that you've done that keeps you up at night? Let us know.
And then we tied his shoelaces to the leg of the bus seat so that when he jumped up, he just ate shit. I was an asshole when I was a kid.
And you know what? Now that you're like an adult and you reflect back on that moment, you're probably like, you know what? His parents were probably fighting really bad, which is why he couldn't sleep at night. And that's why he was so tired on the bus.
No, it was like a 4-hour bus trip.
Oh my God. Where were you?
I don't know. Some like headed to camp in the summer or something. I can't remember. But
there could be so much more behind that.
It was like the bus ride to camp is where the camp pranks started.
I mean, I don't have a clean slate. I would protect the more defenseless, but then there was this girl. She was very, very short. She like threatened to steal everyone's Beanie Babies. And I was like, and she was brand new to the school, and she's just like, I want that. That's mine now. And she's like, I don't even like that. And I was just like, no, you don't get to come in and threaten to steal people's Beanie Babies. So I kept looking at her, and I was like, So I threatened her like all day. She'd look at me, and I'd be like, nah. And I was like, you're not taking my Beanie Babies. You're not coming here threatening Beanie Babies. Anyway, it turns out that when I was on the bus, a mother ran onto the bus. It was moving. She was banging on the door. The bus had to stop. She like tried to forcibly open the doors. He's like, I can open it for you. She gets on there. She's like, Maude, where are you? And I was like, and she's like, can you get off the bus? We need to talk. It was her mum. She chewed me out. How dare you? My daughter has a heart condition. And I was like, your daughter shouldn't play with fucking fire because she will get burnt. Anyway, I remember telling mum, and I was like, I had someone's mum yell at me. She's like, what did you do? I was like, just threatened to kill her a lot.
To be fair, this girl was out there trying to steal people's retirement funds.
Thank you. Chewed me out, General Sorengale style, bringing it back to the book. We love a good segue. Thank you for getting us back on track. So, what I'm trying to say is my past is not crystal clean either. Funny story, though, when I started working on The Project, which is one of the main news entertainment shows in Australia, I'm pretty sure she hit me up on Facebook and was like, hi, remember me? And I drafted 17 different responses being like, your mother, the Beanie Baby. And I just ignored it. I had to just walk away and just ignore it completely. I never wrote back to her. I was like, you do not get to say that you know me. No. Oh, come, I saw you on television. Yeah, well, your fucking mum pulled me off the bus. Anyway, how dare you stand up for yourself? I would have just what? Pucked her up and thrown her? Picked her up and thrown her. You would have picked her up and thrown her? Because she's so small. I was tall. I've been tall my whole life. There you go. Shows how much you've matured since then. I'm literally like, oh, you like Smarties? I'm still doing it. It's so bad. Anyway, I'm just saying, I wouldn't be trying to get hanky pank at this academy to bring it back. I would be like, if they're trying to kill me, I'm trying to kill them. Like, we do not have time to mess about. And I can't believe that no one's taking this as seriously as it should be taken. Thank you. I reckon me and Imogen would either hate each other or would be best friends. All right, that's the next question. Who would you befriend at this academy? Who would be your buddy? And if it's Dain, get out. Get out. Osiris was like, I'm not even tall. I'm just a psycho. Welcome to Maude's book club. Welcome to Maude's book club. Okay, well, let's go back into things. Nefarious things are afoot because there is no recollection of this mystical fairy tale. They're sparring. Jack's being a dick. Xaden's working out shirtless, and it puts everyone in a tizzy in Lust City. That is a direct quote from my notes. In a tizzy in Lust City. Is there? Yep. That night, Ten and Sigale get it on. Dragons can be horny too. Violet doesn't know how to shield and she gets randy AF. Runs into Xaden outside smoking to calm down. He teaches Violet to shield. She's a natural. Wow, you're so good at that. It took me 3 weeks and you can just do it? Wow, you're so smart. You're the smartest person. They end up kissing. This is verbatim my notes. Hello. And then in all capitals, doesn't make sense that he doesn't want to take advantage of her, kisses her, and then stops the kiss from continuing. Make it make sense. Bree says, I need answers about how they were just kicking with the Griffin people and stealing supplies without consequence. I have an answer about that. It's to do with the rebellion relics, tattoos. There's a caveat with all of that, apparently. Riddick was the prankster. I would hang out with him 100%. Riddick's like a S tier. Jay Buntrock, you're right with that one. Sprinkler says I would friend Mira, a bit older. Okay. Avery says I know I'm ace, but I was like, there is no way this is real in the shirtless scene. It's not Avery. Like, I mean, there's ways to handle it. And then there's like the cartoon wolf whistle that happens in the mask. Wooba. Like it just, no. That's so funny from your perspective, being like, there is just no way this is real. Hello, Martin Callahan. Welcome to Maude's Book Club. We are absolutely ripping apart Fourth Wing at the moment. Chris says she's under the influence of magic aphrodisiac. She can't really consent. But then she's like, she actually makes note of, we're going back to the kiss section, which doesn't make sense. She's like, I've noticed that Tan's influence has subsided, and if it subsided for me, then it subsided for him. And she's just like, yay, I'm actually doing this just for me, and it feels just as good because I'm not under the influence. He's like, we must stop because you're under the influence. And it's like, she just said, she did. So you started kissing her when she was under the influence of Tan's lust, and then you stopped when she wasn't. But then you blamed it. Okay. Black Belt, especially with how much sex it seems everyone's having, they wouldn't be that horny at just 2 shirtless guys. Yeah, they took care of some things. Things are being taken care of on campus. Like, keep it in check. I agree. Tim says, I find it super interesting that this book is so mainstream popular and here we are collectively tearing it apart. I think that when you have a book club discussion, this is where sort of some of the things come to the surface and you're like, oh, wow, I actually didn't put thought into that. And now we're talking about it. I get it. I see. Unless you're Avery and you just, yeah, nothing gets by her. I try to friend Bodhi and Rhiannon. Why do you like Bodhi?
Bodhi always seemed like a pretty cool guy. Like he's one of the people in the rebellion. He's, Xaden's cousin, but he's always seemed more relaxed. Like, Xaden's constantly tense and angry and, I don't know, just generally uptight. But like Bodhi seems a lot more relaxed. Just he's there to do his job, and he's somewhat friendly. He's not there. He's not just like, he's not super strung up about everything. So he just seems like, he's good. He knows what he's doing. He's smart and all that. So
yeah. I'd befriend Liam as well. He's a bit busy. I'd get so jealous. I'd be like, she can look after herself. She's a grown-ass woman. Actually, give her a tissue because she can't stop salivating for some reason. It's weird. Black Belt says, I understand all of the hype, but this book just does not hold up under any scrutiny. Nothing feels thought or planned out when you think about it. Yeah, that's it. You can't think. You can't think too hard. Because even if you think a little, you're the smartest person anyone's ever met. Jay Buntrock says, even though we're being super critical, most of us are going to read book 2. Yeah, we've got it. We've already penciled it in for next year. It's happening. It's happening. Blue Riddy Girl says, I don't think it's flawed. Ah, I love that. There you go. Avery said, I would befriend the scribes. Blue Reader Girl said, yep, I'd be befriending the scribes too. Except the fact that you have to sign everything. You can't actually verbally communicate and you can't smile. So that's a little controlling. I'm not down with that. Nick says, with that being said, I'm still really excited to read book 2, which is a weird feeling. It feels like a drug. Yeah, and that's something on good character development, good storytelling. The fact that you're like, if I pull out the microscope, it's riddled with issues. But gosh darn if it ain't a good time, Anyway, Dain gets mad that she didn't show him her memories. Ugh, red flag. Jack challenges Violet, uses killing blows in the fight. She uses oranges to incapacitate him. One throwaway line. I like it when it brings it back, where you kind of have something that's said once and then it's used. I like it when that happens. I think that's clever writing. Xaden makes Violet daggers to suit her so she can fight better. Violet's mum arrives. She's in work mode. Xaden realizes she hasn't shared Andana's powers with her. So there's a bit more of evidence that there's trust forming between the two. There's a trial to find out to find the most useful item for the enemy. They end up stealing mum's map. I liked this group dynamic because you see who naturally took leadership. And the fact that they all said, yeah, Imogen, this is you. And that Riddick was being ridiculous in those circumstances, but it's cool to see those group dynamics. Again, why is Riddick so happy-go-lucky where every day he wakes up he could die? Make it make sense. They're on site, reunited with Mira, and then convince Mira to sneak off to see Rhiannon's family. Turns out Xaden's dragon can't stay apart for more than 3 days. I kind of liked this. This is another trope in romance, which is a forced capacity trope where it's we're stuck together. Ugh, I hate this. But it's that's kind of cool. And then we get another little cool glimpse of a power. Xaden can speak directly into Violet's mind. That's fun. This is where it gets a little bit exciting because she's asking him questions. He's being cheeky to her. It's sort of rebuilding more of this connection between the two. I'm a fan of that. I'm also a fan of she has to stay alive because if she dies, I die. I'm a big fan of that as a trope. I'm yes, I'm eating that up. I'm nomming on it. Xaden's made a harness and a saddle for Tan so that Violet doesn't fall off. There's a next test to capture a crystal egg. Jack stabs Liam, who falls, and Dana's power stops him from dying. She summons lightning to kill Jack by Jack. Violence is violent. Lives up to her name. Existential crisis ensues. All right, I really want a discussion talking about her power. Does it suit her? No. Why not, Jay Bunrock? I might just call you Jay.
Well, it's not what she wants, really. She doesn't want something so violent. And you see, even no matter how much she wills it, she's still not, she's has 0% accuracy on everything she's trying to do with it.
Yeah. It's like Harry. He'd be great in Slytherin, but he doesn't want it bad enough that they put him in Gryffindor. It sounds like she would, her true essence doesn't want to be violent bad enough that it would cater to who she really is. So, yeah, I was a bit confused by lightning being her sigil, personally. Any other thoughts?
I don't know about individual powers, but I don't know if that line about the Signets being from the person themselves and being their true selves is necessarily accurate. They're told that, but it feels wrong. I don't know.
Yeah. This is another example of they say one thing, but there's nothing that demonstrates that in action.
Yeah, Rhiannon, I don't know how Rhiannon's ability to summon things is related to her as the core of a person. A lot of them don't really seem to fit their personalities, but I don't know.
I agree. Hold on, Robin, you said, was that stolen directly from Akatar? What was stolen?
Being able to speak to each other in their minds.
Oh, that does happen. I'm due for a reread.
Yeah, they send each other little notes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And the tattoos and that? No? Can't remember. I'm going to have to reread it again. Oh, no. That's a shame. Maybe at some point she can control the strength of it and start use it to restart someone's heart or like that. Bree says, what is the true self of that mind reader kid? He's got great insight. He can read people really well. I think that could be That could be it. He could read people really well. I have a theory about Liam. Liam's the best lookout because he can hear and see further and has great hearing and seeing. And he's the lookout because he looks out for people. Oh, makes sense. It makes sense. I like it when it makes sense. Avery says it only makes sense because of the trope, not because of anything the character has done. Yeah. Toast Press says, I was hoping that she got dragon toughness for the second power and that she could fly faster, further, and higher. That's cool. Bartleby Prime says it's not as epic as being able to touch someone and figure out their schedule retroactively for a few hours. But it's okay, I guess, to become Thor on a dragon. I believe that comment is dripping with sarcasm. Oh, and Thierry says, R.I.P. Michael Gambon. We lost both Albus and Severus. We did. I won't say it, Lisa. Don't you dare. What's happening? I just have to think it in my head and it happens. Avery says I saw. Fuck. I don't know what that is. That's not even a good superpower.
I didn't even have to say it that time.
I don't even have to say.
Have allergies indoors, Maude.
Why does that do that to me every time? Whoa. It doesn't even make sense. Avery says, I saw a review that described this book as world building for the sake of tropes. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Tropes instead of it making sense. Nick says, giving her an uncontrollable power is convenient because she'll have something to learn in year 2 at Dragon School. That's if they go back. And Nick also says, is this a Pavlovian response at this point? Yeah. Yep. I'll go back into the rest of the recap, but there's like some big things that I want to touch on about where this is going to go in the next book. Xaden checks in on her after learning of her power. They end up going for it. Explosive, literally. We learn more about Xaden's scars and responsibility. I love the depth that we're finally getting about Xaden. The weight of everything on his shoulders. It makes that meeting make more sense instead of being nefarious. It's like he has opted as the oldest of the Von Trapp family. He's the one who has held the responsibility of 107 kids, being like, you know what? I'm responsible for all of them. So you kind of understand the severity here. What would be really cool is if they were all encouraging him to stay away from Violet because of who her mother is and because she doesn't wear the legacy. She hasn't had the hardship that these have gone to go through. I think it should be that clan all turning against Violet because Violet's going to corrupt Xaden from his job, which is so huge. It's bigger than everyone else. Anyway, that would have been a good idea. What do I know? I'm curious what power Violet might get from Endana in the future. Jay Bartman says we haven't talked about chocolate in a while. More picnics. Xaden mentions Endana got so big, assuming she's matured. That's exactly what's happened. You know, Dain's crying and throwing up every time. Free, you come in with some of the best stuff. You just know that Dain is crying and throwing up every time random lightning strikes. That's so good. Did you? Oh. Got such a good listening to emo. Cut my life into. Oh, that's so good. Okay, anyway, I liked that moment. I liked the depth of character that we're getting from Xaden. I thought that was really cool. Anyway, they find her father's book. In it has the hidden note that is cryptic. Was it this obvious? We touched upon it. Yes, it was. Xaden tries to initiate again. But after the whole do not fall for me hanging over her, Violet rejects him until he confesses his feelings and he walks away. I actually thought that moment was badass because we've got someone who is a blubbering mess over this guy every time he flexes a muscle. She wants him so bad, but she set a standard. She's set a boundary. And she's like, I don't want to continue this relationship in the physical sense unless you're going to meet me emotionally. So I thought that was really good of her. Yeah. But then like, you know, cut to 20 pages later and she's like, I love you. You don't even have to love me. I love you with everything. And let's just have sex. And he's like, okay. She's like, great. You're like, okay, well done. You lasted a month. Yeah, a month passes. A lot of pent up frustration. She finds Xaden and needs to walk the parapet to kind of prove herself. In my notes, the whole thing. I found this whole scene where he's like, what are you doing? Don't walk on the parapet. She's like, oh, but I love you. Oh, I just want to be where you are. I was like, what happened to you standing up for yourself in the bedroom and saying no to that glorious moment you could have with him? Because you have dignity. And now you're just being a puddle of eye roll. Fucking eye roll, that whole thing. Anyway, she ends up confessing that she loves him. Even though he doesn't say it back, they have round 2. It's interrupted to continue the war games. Now, a romance trope that I find dangerous. I got angrier on my morning walk when I thought about this. He was warning her, don't fall for me. I can't treat you well. I am not the person you should be with. It's all of these sorts of warnings. Hey, I'm not good for you. And then her inner dialogue is, but he would never hurt me. I know that he wouldn't hurt me. No. Listen to what he's saying. He's literally telling you. He's telling you he's not good for you. He's warning you about him. And you're making excuses for that behavior. In her head, I just know that he would never hurt me, that he actually really cares about. You're not listening to what he's saying. If someone warns you, and I've actually had this in real life experiences where I'm getting heated. If someone's like, I don't think I'm in a good place, or I don't know if I can treat you very well at the moment. I'm like, great, bye. Fucking bye. If you are telling me that you're going to hurt me, I'm going to listen to that and I'm going to be smart about it and I'm going to remove myself from this situation that you are warning him. Oh my God, Robin, you're sorry. But Maude, she can change him. Stop doing this. Stop teaching girls to do this. If a guy tells you he's no good, listen to him. He's not saying it because he's brooding in his shadow magic. He's saying it because he hurts you. He's going to hurt you. He's telling you. Anyway, rant over. In my notes, no girl, listen to what he's saying. All caps, all caps. Xaden requests her for his group in the whole challenge. He overrides Dain, who learns that they're together. Then this is where I had the nickname discussion, which we brought up. She learns about Xaden's betrayal. Now, this is the most interesting part of the book. She learns about the betrayal of him keeping from her that they're actually working with the Griffin Flyers, that they're not the actual enemy that she's been taught to despise or to loathe, or that they're problematic. In fact, they know each other and he's been helping them. It turns out that all the shit that she's been reading is actually true, but she's so butthurt that Xaden's been keeping something from her that she flips out, even though all the evidence is empirically there. Turns out that they're giving them weapons because the Griffins are the ones who are single-handedly fighting off the true threat, which are the Venin and the Wyvern. But she finds out all of this. I do think it's reasonable that she feels betrayed or fractured in the fact that both of her dragons knew the truth and they too kept it from her. So I can totally empathize being in a, hello KP Dubs, being in a position where people that you fell for, that you trusted, that were in your inner circle, that, you know, you spent a lot of time with, were all in on something and all of them kept it from you. I would understand feeling ashamed or feeling sort of like upset. Oh, guys, I would understand feeling upset about that. But I think it's like, I think the bigger picture should be the fact that there is a greater threat and that she was told that. She just need the pieces to click, than making it about her in that moment. I think if she's so smart, she would have recognized that it's bigger than her. And she'd be like, you know what? I want to have this conversation later. We might not even last the rest of today. I'm feeling a lot of emotions that I need to unpack, instead of how she responded. Okay. We had some gift subs. Vaden, you did it 22 minutes ago. You gifted subs to Sask, to Kane, Perpexer, Elfenride, Brenmar, the Fuzzy Falcon, Limitless Meta, Junior Dax, Especies, Big Deal, and KP Dubs, you gifted a sub to K Frito, Crispy T, Mike Eldef, Christian Unpronounceable, who I think I know from the break room stuff that we've been doing. And then Jay Buntrock just now gifted one to Garrett and Scripter, Rhinox, Matt is crap. Matt, that kind of self-talk is worrying. You're not crap. Unless you've got this like long-standing vengeance brigade with someone called Matt and you're just like using it any chance that you can get to shit on Matt. But if your name's Matt and your sign's Matt is crap, get a consensual hug happening. And Dolphin 5. K Frito dropped some bits. I'm guessing because you just got gifted a sub thanks to KP Dubs. And Skull Cleaver's just dropped some bits too. Yay! Let the bits fly. KP Dubs says, I'm in a good mood. No, I will not read out the sports result. So close. Nearly had me. I won't do it. Bree says, honestly, we need more petty usernames out there. Carla, I still meant it over the Beanie Babies. .twitch.tv. I brought that back, but that's fine. No, Terry, what are you doing? Get that out of here. Are the sound alerts off? It won't let me play one. Yes, they aren't working. I don't know why. It just stops every now and then and I have to redo the whole thing. It just clicks off. I don't know when. I don't know how, but it is. All right, the last part of this book, which is really, really cool. She makes it all about her, whatever. One of the questions I have is, does Dain know about the Venin or is he just blindly following orders? Does Dain know? Is he touching teachers' heads? The creepy bastard. Does Dain know?
I don't know how much he knows, but like if he is just blindly following, he's also following knowing that his supposed best friend is going to die. And I just think that is...
yeah, I don't think he knows.
Crap.
I don't think he knows, but we've already seen evidence of him not believing the truth when it's right in front of him, Amber. So who knows? Who knows? What powers do the Venin have? Now, Venin are really freaking interesting. We see Liam on the lookout looking, and he goes, they just appeared. There was nothing, and then they were just there, and there's a group of them, and there's like a main dude with this big staff sort of thing. But it's so interesting to kind of learn that the woman that Violet went up against, she referenced that she had a teacher, and she's like, oh my God, she's also a student. So there must be a dark academy where the Venin are being taught, but it sounds like they're way more powerful when they said that 2 Venin could like eliminate 2 groups of defenders. And so they're like souped up and super powerful. But some of the powers that I think they have, teleportation, since they just appeared. I think that they can teleport. I wonder if there's mind reading, because again, when Violet was in a physical fight against one of them, she was predicting every move that she was making. So Violet couldn't get an upper hand in combat. And it's either one of 2 things. It's either mind reading, so she knows, she can predict, like hear where she's going to go with the fight. Or is it, and this is coming from Graceling by Christian Kishore, if anyone has read it. They have Graces, which is like a little superpower. And one of the ones that the guy has is that he can see a glimpse into the future. So he can see a few seconds into the future. And so he can see the move that you're about to make in combat. So I wonder if there's like a little bit of like seeing in the future as one of their signets. And I'm guessing the Venin can somehow contract or get signets as well, because they've got wyverns, sorry. I don't know. The whole thing's quite interesting. And then, of course, they use poisons on their blades. But this is like a really interesting thing to unpack, and this is where it gets super exciting. Is there a version of a Venin college that's happening, that's taken place? And what do you think the kind of powers that they have are? Did anyone think about that, or is that just me thinking it was the most interesting part of the book? Yep.
I thought about it too. Yeah, it is interesting to see them come out, because unfortunately you only see them near the end of the book, and they're just very clearly villains. There's not much characterization there, but their powers, like I said, are cool, and it's interesting because, like I said, the opposites in various ways. Like they're instead of the dragons giving the power to the riders, the Venin are giving powers to the wyvern themselves. Yes. They're creating them. So
the riders are the more powerful, and they create the wyvern. So when the rider dies, the wyvern dies. Wyvern, whichever one. But in this academy, it's the dragon that holds all the power. So when the dragon dies, the rider dies. So I think that's like, you're right. It's like a mirrored kind of system that's happening there. Avery is the same. Avery just said, I would rather learn about the Dark Academy. Vaden, you said the Venin may have their own individual powers, like Signets as well. Feminine Fig says, maybe at their school, they're just not killing off students. Maybe that's why they're more powerful. Maybe that was the trick all along. Thank you, Feminine Fig, for that one. Bartleby Prime says, oh, if mind reading is a Venin power, maybe Dain will switch allegiances. That's interesting. And that's why they kill the, what are they called again? Intrinsics. I don't know why that's not sticking in my head. It just doesn't. Oh my God. Robin says, lol, I just thought it was because her moves were so predictable. Amen to that as well. Avery said earth magic being bad and sky magic being good is interesting. That is interesting. This is when the book like actually made me sit up and go, okay. J Bunt Rock says, I really like the look of the Venin. I'm interested to see the fan art. Nick says the only way that they can improve Dain's character is turning him into a Venin zombie. I like that. Tosa says, I thought this is where all Violet's training came into play, but she got her arm broken and then stabbed and poisoned. Yeah, Wyvern, Wyvern, let's call the whole thing off. KP Dubs, you know KP Dubs is here because he commented Wyverns and husbandvins. Wyverns and husbandsvins. That's very clear. Bree says the Venin are clearly just a metaphor for climate change. Amen. Where's the lie? Got to protect her. Terry says, I imagine that the Venin and Wyvern to look like the Nazguls and the Fell Beasts from Lord of the Rings. Oh, that's fun. Yeah, I like that. You learn the truth about the rebellion relics. Visions get blocked when 3 or more congregate. So what does this mean for their mission? Is that the reason why they're able to successfully give weapons to the Griffin flyers? Because every time they're together, the general who's pervy. Okay, hold on. Xaden makes reference to the fact that the general bonks him once a year. He's like assaulting Xaden. Is that what's happening? General Melkin? It's referenced twice. General Melkin says to Violet, I make sure that I see him once a year. And then Xaden in the last chapter, when she finally wakes up after the poison and falls and he's like, I discovered that like when General Melkin would have me in his chambers, don't stress about, like, don't worry about that. And I was like, what? Is that what's happening? More on that.
I didn't think that was the case. That wasn't my interpretation. I thought they would just like, maybe they're doing something to maintain the rebellion rock or something, because there's something's
happening right there. Something dark is happening there. And I think that's going to be unveiled in the next book to make General Melkin, whatever his name is, like a full-on villain, like unforgivable shit that he's been doing. And Xaden's just trying to survive. But something's happening there. But he's like, yeah, I realized that like with that mark, it was actually a blessing. Listen to that I'll read that last chapter again and get back to me about that. The last chapter is from Xaden's point of view. Do you think that we needed that final chapter to be from Xaden's point of view? No, says J Buntrock. Did we need Xaden's point of view in this book?
I don't know if we needed it, but I really liked the voice actor.
Oh, did you now? Did you look him up? Is he cute?
No, but that's the first time I think I've heard him, but I've heard his name before.
Oh.
I think this is the first book I've actually
put it in the show chat. Fable had mixed results, mixed feelings about the voice actor for Xaden. The big reveal, of course, is that we learn Brennan is alive. Bree says the actor did sound handsome. Avery says maybe if it happened a few times before, but it didn't make sense as the finale. Okay, yeah, I hear you. I think it would have been something cool to have in Iron Flame. So yeah, Brennan, her brother, didn't die, is alive. There are theories going around that the Nolan resurrected Brennan instead of like him using all of his mending, like Brennan died. Apparently there's like a resurrection could actually be a sigil power, and that there's like a few things that are being kept secret. There's another theory that Xaden is actually intrinsic. In fact, there are, and I will read them out. This is a theory thanks to EmpyreanWriters.com. You can look up some of these theories as well. One theory is that Xaden Ryerson is intrinsic. Chapter 4, page 52. Violet can sense when Xaden is around, even though he's not in his line of sight. I believe this happens when he reads her mind. The hairs on the back of my neck stand up and a chill races down my spine as I cross the center of the rotunda. Then my steps halt. Cadets move around me, but my eyes are drawn upward towards the top of the steps that leads to the gathering hall. Chapter 7, page 87, when Violet says that Xaden can see through her, and she gets that ice prickly sensation, which again reiterates when she can feel Xaden. I think that that's what she feels when he reads her mind. He looks at me like he's trying to see through me, and ice prickles my scalp. Chapter 8, page 100. Again, Violet realizes that prickling sensation. There's no ignoring the prickle at my scalp, and I let my gaze shift to meet Xaden's. Chapter 8, page 102. Violet telling us again about the ice prickling sensation. I'm happy to step in. That voice, that tone, that prickle of ice along my scalp. Chapter 9, page 110, Violet and Xaden on the sparring mat when Xaden reveals that he knows about the poisons. Because you can't poison every enemy you come across. How did you know? Oh, Violence, you're good.
Turn to page 394.
Nice. Was that you, KP Dubs? Yeah. He's like, yeah. But I've known better poison masters. The trick is to not make it quite so obvious. Chapter 10, page 125. Violet can feel that prickle on her scalp despite the fact that she's hiding, and Xaden does not have direct line of sight to her. My scalp prickles and Xaden stops mid 10 feet away, the set of his shoulders rigid. It happens again. Xaden tells Violet that he knows about her plan for the scribe quadrant. Again in chapter 10, Xaden mentions his shadows see everything. Chapter 13, there's another prickling sensation of the scalp specifically. Chapter 16, whoop, you guessed it, another prickling sensation. So it says my scalp prickles again. How did I not know it? Literally, I think this is 12 times she said scalp prickles. Chapter 17, my whole head tingles. Chapter 18, I feel a tingle in my scalp and know that if I turn, I'll find Xaden watching us, watching me. Chapter 18, start mentally reciting whatever bookish shit that you've learned. Xaden on how to mask thoughts from others, so he knows what to do. Anyway, there was a time, I think I actually brought it up, but then I realized, oh no, his shadow is the Signet. But I was like, I reckon Xaden can read minds. Why else would they have an intrinsic in there that was like killed quickly? I think Xaden has shadows because yes, he's keeping secrets, but I think one of the secrets is that he can read minds. He can speak directly into her head quite clearly. And like, I understand that that's like the connection that they have. But one of the theories is for Iron Flame, she's going to learn that he's been reading her mind, because we've seen the fact that Dain has been surreptitiously getting glances or like touching her head to read her mind as well. And she lost it. She was like, that is such a betrayal of trust. And he's like, So maybe that he is intrinsic, and that's like another reason why in the next book, she's just going to have all trust obliterated between the two. And any thoughts on that, chat? Am I blowing anyone's mind? Anyone's got a scalp tingle? There it is. Good. What about the scribes altering history and burying the truth? Does that make sense to you? How do you think that that's happening and getting away with it? Because the scribes know everything, and they also must be aware that they are altering facts here.
Well, what is it? It's kind of said that it takes one generation to change it. The next generation teaches it, and then from then on, no one remembers it. So it might not be that people are still hiding it. They're the ones that are there now don't know.
Wow.
Because it's already been changed centuries ago.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I read it.
Yeah, okay. Avery says, no, the scribe quadrant one was because she told him. Oh, okay. Venin, you think that maybe Xaden's bonded to more than one dragon too? Or a griffin as well? Maybe he's got a griffin on the side.
Maybe.
Oh. Sprinkles is saying, I'm thinking that Lilith, the mum, is like Professor Snape, perceived as evil, but not actually. Avery says, all trust will be destroyed, and here comes Dain trying to be redeemed. Bree says, I assume that there is a mass grave of books and people somewhere. Yeah, okay. Yeah. They're really building an entire town that no one knows about as well. There's like also an article here. Every single time Dain reads Violet's mind. So chapter 4, he cups Violet's face. Chapter 8, he cradles Violet's face. Chapter 9, touches her again. 16, another. Dain reaches me, his smile wide as he cups my face. Chapter 16, Dain's hands lace up my corset quickly and then are on my face, tipping it up towards his. He's like all up in her biz. Blech. Another theory that, so here's a really cool theory that I liked the sound of as well. And that is the theory that Andana's power, because we know that Andana's power of stopping time has been used up, but we also know that Andana has grown considerably. So now she's basically in like her adult form and she's going to harness like a big power. There is a theory online, same site, love this site. I deep dove into it before the show. That instead of it being freezing time, she's going to have the power to manipulate time. So they're all saying that Liam, like this interesting part of the book that just happened, and Dana's going to have the power to go back in that time, save Liam, warn the civilians that were caught up in the war, because like a bunch of civilians and innocents died. A bunch of people died. And then they could use that information and then tell the academy that Venin are actually real and Griffins are on their side, and they can kind of like rewrite the last part of that book. And that's Andana's doing, because you've got Imogen who's able to short-term memory wipe as well. Another theory was, has Imogen been wiping her mind? Did maybe Xaden try to tell her the truth and she couldn't handle it, so Imogen came in and was like, forget about it. So like there's that as like another sort of theory with what to do with all these powers. Feminine Fig says, Violet's dad did not agree with the changing history and left, is not dead. That's interesting as well. Why is Brennan so happy to fly under the radar and like pretend, basically fake his own death so he can help with this underground movement, rebellion? What's going on there? Avery says, if we find out that this girl has never had a moment of privacy because all the men are gross and can't keep their hands to themselves, I'm going to throw the book across the room. Yeah, that's fucked up. Nick said, well, I would question how Xaden could be bonded to another dragon or griffin without anyone noticing, but nothing else makes sense in this book, so sure. Brennan Sorringale fan cast, Kit Harington, says Thierry. I like that. I like that a lot. Venin says, as much as I like Liam, I hope that they don't do time travel. It kind of just screws everything up. But Jay Buntrock says, I am on board for a dragon TARDIS. Toast Post said, I would want to ride a Pegasus. What would you want, Maude? What kind of steed? What kind of thing? Dragon. Give me a dragon. Are you kidding me? Dragon. Bree says, God, I love Kit Harington. What do you think Andana's next power would be? Could be, if not time manipulation? Good. Another prediction that I have for the sequel, Iron Flame. That last mission was supposed to take care of the rebel kids. So what happens when they come back? Because they were supposed to die. And so if they like show up and they're like, cool, yeah, we just we eliminated the threat and now we're back with evidence that the Venin attacked. Like, that plan was all flawed. I personally don't think that they're going to be at the academy for round 2. I think that they're going to restation where Brennan is and school's no longer important. I mean, Xaden was graduating anyway, and they have to stay together. So I don't think they're going back personally. So that's what I think's going to happen.
Yeah, I was thinking they wouldn't be able to go back.
Right, because of that, because they were supposed to die. So you think they've faked everyone's death now?
Well, I don't know if they're going to fake their deaths. I just think that they're not going to be able to go back, because if they go back, they will die.
Yeah,
I think
okay.
Get killed.
Thierry says, what about teleportation for Andana? Bain says, I mean, the Venin teleport, so it's not outside the realm of possibility. Vaden, if Andana's matured, I assume she got more powerful, but it's hard to come up with something more powerful than Time Stop. Bartleby Prime says, sophomore year is going to be interesting at Basgiath War College. Record scratch. Hyoko says, will there even be a second year of school, or is it going to be like the 7th book of Harry Potter? I think that's exactly where we're going, personally. Bree says, I think Imogen was mentioned in the Iron Flame excerpt that released. Avery says, yeah, they're going to stay dead until someone, probably Mira, finds them. Feminine Fiction says, does Violet go back to be a spy? Well, then Violet becomes the very thing that she hates, which is holding a secret and betraying everyone that she's close to. Make her do it. Give her a taste. There's another theory. The initial storm on the parapet was Lilith Sorrengail's doing. Oh, amazing. Yeah, there's a bunch of other theories that Violet didn't get the Book of Brennan from Mira. That something else is at play there. There's a reason why Liam doesn't fight Dain on the mat. I think it's because Liam's holding the secrets. There's a theory for 4th one that there are less dragons, but there are more powerful signets. Anyway, there's a lot of things to break down. It sounds like overall we're giving it about a 3.5. 3.5 out of 5 is like the overall consensus. I might change my score just because, 4 hours of discussion. Avery says, I just don't know if Rebecca Yarros planned far enough ahead for some of these theories to be true. STS says, don't a lot of us become the things that we hate? That's an after show discussion. Toast Poster says, I hate lots of money. Bree says, I just double checked and Imogen is in the scene from the excerpt. Did you want me to read it? Iron Flame excerpt. Exclusive from the Today Show. Here it is. A third of you will be dead by next July. If you want to wear Rider Black, then you earn it. Dain. Fuck. Dain shouts, his voice rising with each word. You earn it every single day. See, again, they're talking about it, but you don't. Kath digs his red claws into the masonry and leans over Dain's head, swinging his sword tail behind him in a serpentine motion as he blows a hot breath of steam over the crowd that sours my stomach. Dain really needs to check Kath's teeth, because there has to be a bone stuck in there, like decaying or something. Ew. He's like literally telling me that I have to earn the blacks because I could be dead, but like, ew, the breath. Ugh. Cries sound in the courtyard, and a first year to the right, tail section, breaks out of formation and sprints back towards the parapet, racing through the aisles between cadets. Oh, but like, no, the breath was what's gross. Yeah. No, we have a runner, Riddick mutters. Shit. I cringe, my heart sinking as 2 others from Third Wing decide to follow his example, their arms pumping wildly as they make a break for it from first squad of their tail section. This isn't going to end well. Looks contagious, Quinn adds as they race by. Fuck, they actually think they'll make it, Imogen sighs, her shoulders drooping. The trio nearly collides directly behind the center of our wing, our section, then bolts towards the opening in the courtyard where the parapet lies. Eyes on Solus, Tern shouts. I look forward again, watching Solus narrow his one eye to a slit and swivel his head as he draws a full rumbling breath. Lead fills my chest as I glance back over my shoulder and glimpse the runners nearing the parapet. The dragons didn't let them get that far last year. He's toying with them, and at this angle, oh shit. Solus extends his neck, tilts his head horrifyingly low, and curls his tongue, a fire churning up his throat. Get down! I shout, lunging for Sloane and tackling her to the ground as fire blasts overhead, the flame so close that heat singes every patch of exposed skin on my body. To Sloane's credit, she doesn't cry out as I cover as much of her body as I can, curling over her, but the soul-rending screams behind us are unmistakable. I opened my eyes long enough to see Arik laying flat over the redhead under the endless stream of fire. Tan's roar fills my head as lava licks along my arched back. A scream musters at the base of my throat, but I can't breathe in this inferno, let alone give it voice. As quickly as it struck, the heat dissipates, and I fill my lungs with precious oxygen, gasping for breath before shoving off the gravel to my feet. I turn to face the aftermath as the other second and third years around me rise. Those at the back of our section who acted when I shouted are alive, and those who didn't aren't. But the breath was gross. Solus took out the runners, one of our first years, and at least half of the third squad. chaos erupts. All right, so I guess what we get from that, they are going back to school. Violet's living up to Liam's dying wish, protect my sister Sloane. So she's back there with that duty to protect Sloane at all costs. What, 50, 40 people just died there? Even in that passage, the tone. Oh, but Dain's dragon's breath is funky. But like, oh, they're going to run. Oh, they're going to die. Oh.
I legitimately thought you ad-libbed that dragon's breath part.
No. I was in there. I did ad-lib like my thoughts in it, but like, no, that was... Avery's just like... Ah! All right, well, that's the next book. That's it for September's book. Next month, October. Yeah, Maude added some Becky to the accent. That's because that's how it reads to me. Oh, they're running. Oh, they're gonna die. Oh, guys, get down. More people are about to fucking die. Ugh. Oh my god. Did his bicep just flex? Oh, hold on. The dragon's about to kill a bunch of people. Oh, 1 second. Anyway, there's no, I mean, there's no Xaden there anyway because he's already graduated, but uncut jams. Yeah, I'm like the Safdie brothers. Yeah, it's for uncut jams. It's like if Harry went back to school in year 7, getting that education while trying to save the whole world. Van says, well, you know, Violet did promise Liam to protect his sister, but I know what you mean. Oh, it makes no sense. So they do go back to school. Yeah. I hope they have a detailed tree of all the wings and squads. And in the document, I didn't go through them, but it's everyone's signet and why I think that they got that particular power. Some of them I don't really know. Like, why did Riddick get ice? I don't know. Well, Liam makes sense because he's looking out for people. I think the shadows and the secrets make sense. Violet's doesn't. Why does Rhiannon have summoning? Because that girl gets what she wants. That's my theory. Rhiannon, she gets what she wants, so she can summon. Why does Lilith have the power of storms? I was like, I don't know, angry? She's angry. Brennan, why is Brennan a mender? Because he wants to fix things. Which is why I thought that Violet would go after her brother's power and not her mother's, but what do I know? Dain, why does he have retrocognition? Because he's nosy. That's what I put. Nosy bastard. Heat. Why does Heaton have breathing underwater? I was like, I don't know, but that's a shit signet. They're like planning, and it's like, what can you do? He's like, I can breathe underwater. It's like, cool, next, what can you do? And he's like, oh, I guess I'll go over there and fuck myself. It's like, when does that come in handy? Is there a body of water that is a do or die situation? And it's like, Heaton, you're up. You can breathe underwater. He's like, yes. Anyway, there's also like one of them can do something with metal, bend metal or something. Uh-huh. General Melgren, seeing the outcome of the battle, also a nosy bastard. I have written here. Also a little bit nosy. Yeah. Anyway, we'll talk about that after the show. We are reading Fairy Tale by Stephen King next month in October. The schedule will go up in the Discord. Make sure you're over on Discord so you get the latest for that. We also are trying to... No, we are not. What do you mean? You're not going to read it? You're not going to read Fairy Tale, Stephen King? Stephen King! October! Do you hate Halloween? What is this? What do you... Nope. Mope. Won't the dragon drown? Yes! It's the dumbest signet! The dragon has to fly upside down! It's so stupid. Nick can't wait for Fairy Tale. Thanks for the stream, says Toaster Poster. Yay! Buttery Prime says very few of these have anything to do with dragon aeronautics. Exactly. What if you fly through a rain cloud? Okay. You were so by yourself for this one? What do you mean? Robin?
Oh, the guy with the underwater breathing.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
No one else can.
They were handing out powers and they were like, fuck you, Heaton. And he's like, oh.
Look, what if you fly your dragon through a rain cloud?
I mean, chances are you're in the cloud for moments. I could hold my breath for that long. But breathing
Rain
underwater.
clouds get pretty big.
I mean, I guess if there's like a severe storm, I mean, Lilith can summon the storm. He can breathe through the clouds.
Hey Maude,
Yeah.
make it make sense.
If you can breathe in fog or a rainstorm, you can breathe in a rain cloud.
Yeah. 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 Anyway, Fairy Tale. Grab yourself a copy of that one. It's a pretty thick book if I recall correctly. So yeah, get cracking on that one already. Vaden, I saw that you started it. How is it so far?
I don't know. I've like read just like one chapter. That's it. So.
Okay, good. I put him on the spot. Terry says maybe at one point the water breathing power could be extended to a group of dragons and riders. Now that's better. Yeah. Everyone can breathe underwater. And then they're like a zombie army crawling and then they, slowly appear out of the lake. That's sick. Let's make that happen. Truce Gone says might need a spooky bonus book. Tass, do we have a bonus book happening? I thought we were going to do a bonus book. I will say though that we are catching up on Morningstar. We never spoke to Pierce, and now that he's done with his book tour, we're going to try and talk to him. And I'm asking if he's reading Fairy Tale, because I think he might be reading Stephen King's Fairy Tale as well. So we'll catch up with Pierce. Although he didn't quite answer my question. We got off topic and spoke about other things, even though I said I need to work with you. So TBC on all of that. Because November we're going to be reading Iron Flame. No, that's not it. It's Iron Gold. Oh my god. That's going to mess me up. Iron Gold. Read the first 16 chapters. We will be re-meeting again on the 12th of October for the first half, and then the end of the book, end of the month for the second half of the book. Darcy Coates is a bonus book. We read some Darcy Coates for Maud's Book Club. Here, The Haunting. This was scary. I found this book to be quite scary. The Haunting of Ashburn House. She got chased by ghosts and stuff. Darcy Coates is an Australian author. So I'm always a big fan of getting more Aussie authors' books read. But yeah, maybe something a bit smaller. I don't love reading horror. I think I've made that abundantly clear. J. Bunt Rockley clear. That was a stretch. Let me have it though. Okay, he's just chuckling. So yeah, keep it posted. We're going to also start booking up next year as well. So get your suggestions in. We're going to finish up the Red Rising series. This is the latest one that's out, but Red Gods should be kind of maybe done by the time we get through all the series. And then we're going to start this big boy. Oh dear. I can't even hold it with one hand. Look at it. I think we're going to try and start some Brandon Sanderson. Apparently this is one of the best fantasy books ever written. That's what they say. This is in like the top 10 of every single list. But we are in this together. Yeah. Oh. Yes, I really want to read some fifth season.
2 months to read that, right?
Nope. We're also doing books 3 and 4 of the Dungeon Crawler Carl series in December, so get ahead on that one. Books 3 and 4. I believe half of you have already read it. Yep. Actually, that's more than half. No? Okay. Well, books 3 and 4 for Dungeon Crawler Carl. If you haven't gotten started on that one, please do read the first and second. I recommend listening to it. God, it's a good series. We had a lot of fun with the first 2 books. Chris is on book 6 of Dungeon Crawler Carl. I'm actually going to listen to the last book that came out, but I'm like, do I read all of them so that the latest one that just came out makes sense? Or do I skip having not have read books 3, 4, and 5 for a whole year and just go straight to 6? This is what I'm wondering about. Or do I re-listen to it knowing that I'm going to re-listen to 3 and 4 again in December, even though it's October now? We'll do a poll. Vote in the poll. What should I... Anyway, Terry just finished book 6 of Dungeon Crawler Carl last Tuesday. What'd you give it, 5? Yeah. He's like, yeah. I always skip. What do you mean? I'm 30% into book 4, says Robin. Anyway, great books. Get your suggestions in over on the Discord as well. Bartleby Prime says, oh, I read Elantris and I loved it. I have The Way of the Kings on my shelf. Excuse me, but never started it. I'm sorry about that one. I had Italian for dinner. That was some good pasta. Oh, yeah. I got a burp count. Okay, Sanderson in August. Got it. Pretty much. All right, let's raid. Who do we want to raid into? Oh, my jaw hurts. What am I even smiling from the photo shoot? All day. It's past your bedtime. That's funny. Past the bedtime. That's a good pun. Who's playing what? Do you want to see some Starfield? Should we raid into Critical Role? That'd be so funny. Here you go. Actually, fuck it. I've never done it before. Let's raid into Critical Role. It's like David and the Goliath. They won't even notice. Oh, they've disabled raids. Wow, they've disabled raids. Imagine being so popular that you can be like, nah, don't raid into our show. They're not live anymore. Got it. Steven Spawn. Love Steven Spawn. Oh, invalid username. What did I do wrong? Steve. In. He's playing some Starfield. That's pretty cool. Nope, we're doing Steven Spawn. Sam Witwer, great streamer. He's playing Hitman at the moment, but you know what? I want to support Steve because I think he's fantastic. So everyone, drop on by, say hi, let's make his evening, and I'll see you 12th of October for the first half of Fairy Tale, and I'll see you in the Discord. I liked that.